Thank you.
How easy is it to get frustrated with the politics and the policies and the people that use them to their advantage?
I mean, you know, it's all a matter of perspective. It's all up to you. You know, I don't want to. You know, they're bad. It's a matter of how you take it. If you want to schmooze, you can schmooze. If you want to work out with guys to buddy up to them, you can. If you want to be me. Sadly, I'm somewhat childish and high schoolish. We're like, fuck you, I'm gonna be stubborn. To the point of it being just stupid and stubborn, you know, and it bites me in the ass, but I don't care. I like me. But yeah, it's some people. Does the cream always rise to the top? If it sticks around long enough, yeah, I guess it will. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of bullshit floating up top, too. You know what I mean?
There, I would say the jizz rises to the top. Not so much the cream. It's a form of cream, jizz. But I think the jizz rises to the top there. So that if you can nut on the boss's face, you've jizzily cemented yourself on the bearskin rug roster. That's probably a roster. It's probably a list of names on there.
Pretty good, the bearskin rug.
Based on your experiences with them, memories of Mercury and Nitro.
Mm-hmm.
Memories of, was it a big deal to get the tag titles to you guys? Was it something that you dug?
It's weird. Okay, here's the deal. I was in Memphis with Mercury, and I liked him. There was something that happened where Bobby Eaton showed up to a house show, and he was a trainer. And I love Bobby, man. This motherfucker.
I heard he's like the nicest guy ever. Like, I don't think I've ever met him, but I heard he's just amazingly nice. Like, he won't let you pick up a tab or anything. He's just...
Imagine this. Imagine you're Bobby Eaton, and I'm some dumb fucking 21-year-old prick.
I'm gonna give you a knee off the top.
No, there's you're on the apron. There's the ropes right here. I hit the ropes. I'm gonna give him a Hurricane Rana over the ropes, and you take it to the floor. And this fucking crazy prick, he was doing it with me, right?
That's
so
awesome.
Somebody called to the office. Bobby Eaton got fired, and I swear to you,
Two.
Oh, thank you, buddy. It wasn't me, but the blame got passed towards me, and Dragon stuck up for me, and fucking, of course, I stuck up for me, but fucking Joey was passing the blame towards me. He's real good at like schmoozing up to people that you know can get him ahead. There was
give him head.
Or give him, yeah. So we're working Deuce and Domino. They're making their debut, and there's a lady that was working there that happened to be standing by and heard him tell them that just treat 'em like jobbers. Now mind you, we're the champs at this point. Just treat 'em like jobbers, eat 'em up like anybody else. And this girl comes and tells me, you know, oh motherfucker, you know, and that's why these pricks aren't bumping for us. So I run into Joey. He'd been fired about a week later. I run into him in a bar, and yeah, I asked him about it, and I was on a lot of pills at the time, man. I don't remember. So let's just say I did it. Dude, if you don't remember, why wouldn't you say you didn't do it? So no, I mean, Nitro, he's got no spine, but I like him. Mercury, he's a fucking piece of shit. and that's a shame, because I part of me likes him, but yeah. Boy, man, time and again, I'm too nice. He's a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit. Some people are.
Yeah, when I was talking about Ring of Honor and all the guys were supporting me and being real helpful when I'd broken Chris Marvel's ankle by accident, Joey was one of the first guys that came to me. He was like, "Hey man, don't let that get you down." He was like this brotherly figure. He was really helpful and like it helped me out tremendously. And
I'm the asshole.
And then we reunited in WWE and he was cool, but he was just so different. You know what I mean? Like he's just like I could tell he was already. Well, like I was already up there before he had gotten up, and then he came up with this M&M deal, and like it was, you know, the boss was he had a hard on for. He wanted to put the M&M on the bear rug, and so they were the hot team, and Joey was like hot shit, and he was banging Alexis Lurie. And it was like, well, who hadn't seen those pictures, right? And And fucking, so he was all hot shit about her.
You remember Batista putting those pictures up in the locker room?
No.
Yeah, I
Really?
swear to God, he printed them out and put them in the locker room. I swear to God he did, and it was the funniest fucking thing. It was the funniest thing.
Pantyhose.
Yeah, anyways.
But, so yeah, Joey changed. I mean, he became a different guy. I mean, I guess you blame it on the drugs or whatever you want to fucking blame it on.
Yeah, don't take responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be accountable. Blame it on substances, not yourself.
But he's just one of these cowards, you know, who's just wanting to schmooze up and be in with the boys, so he thought, that was his friend. He's just sour sap, you know, walk around. And the thing I never understood about Joey was like,
His bad back.
he had this bad back, and he would walk around like a fucking, like Sabu looked like he should be an Olympic gymnast compared to fucking Joey. The way Joey walked, Sabu looked like sprightly and young compared to the way Joey would walk around. And it was like, what bumps are you taking, man?
I love that.
An atomic drop? What? Why are you?
That was it. That was
what?
Atomic. Yeah.
I didn't understand that. So, but yeah, I mean, Nitro was cool because Nitro was always willing to try shit and go after shit, and he was extremely athletic, and there's really nothing that he can't do.
And a super nice guy.
Super nice guy, you know. Even if he lets guys bang his girlfriend and knows about it, and you know, chaperones their date. Weird. Yeah, I mean, he's a nice guy.
I think
I've never been behind his newer gimmick. He's always Nitro to me. He's just...
Jeff and Matt Hardy.
We're gonna have two different takes. I love him, man, and honestly, right before I got released, you know, I'd been kind of on the fence about Matt. I liked him in the past. Bad vibes, but for no real reason. He invited me over to his house. And I walked away feeling like the prick, man. He was really gracious. Jeff and I always got along. And really, I think it's all a matter of circumstance, you know? I don't think there's a good person and a bad person. I think it's just how we're introduced in the interactions. As far as the Hardys go, ultimately, yeah, I'd have to say I like them, man. They were cool with me, man. I've hung out and drunk and partied with them, and fuck, I'd like to hang out and drink and party with them again.
Yeah, I'll start in chronological order. I was, you know, growing up, obviously I was, you know, I was a fan of what they were doing, because I think the first time I really saw them was with like Kane or something, and he demolished him. You know, this is like when they were sort of real jobbish. Something like sunflowers or something on their ties, like something really gay. And I was like, God, these guys are faggy, but you know,
I
seemed
loved
like,
them, man.
yeah, but I liked him.
Yeah,
And when they had this like upset win over Kai and Ty and Heat and shit, I was like, oh, this guy's fucking won one. What the jobbers do win sometimes. You know what I mean? I was like, sweet. And then I saw like Van Damme's match with Jeff, and I was like, and I thought that was cool. And then you know, so I'd follow their shit, because to me it was like, oh, these are guys that, you know, don't so much look like stars, but they're successful, and they've created quite an amazing following, you know. And then even getting into WWE, I had, you know, a series of dark matches. I'm trying to remember but I had a series of dark matches. I think my last actual dark match was with Matt.
That was it though. That was the big one. And
yeah,
I remember
think that's the one.
He went to bat.
Yeah, and so
he
like
really did. It was an
that
awesome
one
match.
really helped me, and he gave me a lot.
It was a good match, though.
Yeah,
man.
it was a good match. It was good. He hit me with his finisher twice, and it just made me look stronger. And like I remember Carino pointing that out, because you know I was still really trying to learn this stuff at the time. I was like, I don't, you know,
as a local nobody, man.
Yeah, I mean it was cool. I was really thankful for it, and I loved it. And he's, you know, was very supportive. And he still seemed supportive when I was in OVW, and I liked those guys. And I ran into Jeff at Ring of Honor, my last Ring of Honor match. He had recently left WWE or whatever, and he was starting a Ring of Honor. And so we just kind of like went this transition where I was going there and he was just leaving. But we always got along. And and then in working there with these guys, it was fine. And then you know, I think just a matter of the atmosphere. When you're in a wrestling atmosphere around a lot of people, you know, things tend to, you know, you tend to interact in a lot of different ways, you know, and so, you know, one second I'm at a casino getting, you know, mauled by Ashley Massaro, and that leads to a fucking relationship. You know, and I don't know what to think.
I just so happened to be there, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what you know, but and so, you know, my understanding is that there was no relationship there anymore, and I wasn't even aware of that. Because honestly, to be honest with you, I never thought, like, I don't know if it was just a bad mindset I had for myself. I mean, the place had really, like, unfortunately, I had gotten to a point where my confidence had really become diminished. And I don't know if it's just a matter of repetition, the same weight, same old shit, where you feel like you're kind of at this level, and then you think that there's like kind of this upper echelon of talent that's like way up here. Well, that's how I considered a lot of those people. So like, the truth is I never even thought about these people. Even Ashley, because she was like their prime girl, right? She just won some contest or something. So none of these people were even in my train of thought, right? So when one of them was almost interacting with me, I was also almost kind of like, wait, you know that like I'm not looked at as anything valuable in the company, right? Like, you know that I'm, you know, I mean nothing in this company. You know that, right?
You had a shiny gold belt, man. A shiny gold belt.
But at brass tacks,
Yeah.
I'm not liked in this company for whatever reason. Maybe I'm just too honest. But so that was the situation, and so I'm getting this attention from this, you know, this girl at the time, and it's very appealing. And so, wow, oh great, and I got kind of carried away with this thing. And then, but then, you know, come to find out, there's still all this like emotion there and everything, and it just got kind of swiped up into this retarded triangle of nonsense, right? But you learn with relationships, and every relationship is like a trial and error, and so I think there was a lot of confusion there, specifically between Matt and I, where, you know, to me it was like, well, I don't buy into the whole thing of like, oh, well, if you dated this girl, it's hands off, and it's like, you know what, if you dig somebody, you dig somebody. Fuck it. If you really care about them, then what makes them happy should ultimately be what makes you happy, even if it's not you. You know what I mean? And he couldn't accept that. You know, from what I gathered, he couldn't accept that. But at the same time, you know, I was still fairly young, and I had a lot of naive capabilities to me, where I was just like, oh, this is so exciting, you know, Playboy, who cares? But you know, it was a fun time, but at the same time, I felt like, well, I'm not going to be like some of these other guys, like Nitro, who just knows that his girlfriend's getting banged by, you know, Batista or whatever, and lets it, oh, okay, you know, what can I do about it? And it's like, no. You know, it's how I've always felt. If someone, and I don't know if it was a matter of maybe of her just lying to me, you know, but from what I understand, they were well over, and she would tell me all these horrible things about him, and I would try not to judge him, and I'd just be like, hey, you know, well, that's in the past, and I would try and just focus on us. But it seemed to just always be kind of like this thorn in my side, where it was kind of like, God, am I never gonna hear the end of this guy? And like, it's just, and so it was a nasty atmosphere. It just created a lot of bad blood that I think stemmed from a lot of miscommunication, to the point where there were times when I would have to ask her, like, what are you doing? Like, do you want this guy or me? Like, make up your goddamn mind, you know? Like, I'm too old for this shit. And you would think, you know, I just got strung around a lot, and eventually it got to the point where I was like, okay, well, if you want to be with him, then that's fine. If that's what you want, if that's what's going to make you happy, then I'm fine with that. And I went up to him, and I specifically said, just stay out of my life. I don't want to have anything to do with either of you. Like, this has been so stressful. Like, I'd rather just not bother. And I mean, I could go into details, but I started to really lose respect for the guy just because I saw how he started to treat me as a result of it. Like, it was just a lot of things that occurred, I was just like, this isn't the same guy that I thought I liked and thought was cool. And just the more I heard about him, the more I was like, I can't see how people don't see right through this. This is a joke. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that got mixed with a ton of the emotions that I was feeling at the time, just because I was, I'm a pretty passionate person, and when I'm involved with somebody, I take a lot of pride in it, and I'm willing to stand up for them. But when that person's maybe giving me mixed signals and telling me things that aren't true, I mean, it leads me astray, and so I'm kind of just left as this guy who's only half filled in on the information, but yet he's trying to be as honorable as possible. And like I said, it just created a lot of bad blood and a lot of just, it felt like stupid high school nonsense. But the more I heard about him, the more I just didn't like him. And I didn't like what I heard about the guy. And he didn't do anything to prove otherwise to me. He definitely didn't do anything to say, oh no, I'm actually a decent guy.
I wish, man, you guys could.
Yeah, I mean, it might happen someday.
Yeah, I hope it does. I hope you guys can shake hands and say, fuck it, man, shit happens. I really do.
Out of what little respect there is left, there's things that I just...
That'd be great, though, man. It'd be nice.
It would, it's not something that I harbor so much over, and it used to be something that really bothered me, because it was just like, God, I wish... I was like, I need to expose this guy. He's such a foul person. But then I just stopped caring because it wasn't worth it. You know what I mean? And then to flip over to Jeff, I mean, I always liked Jeff. Jeff and I, we had phenomenal chemistry together. I mean, we had a blowout match in Mexico City.
Fuck.
It was like probably my favorite match, other than the ladder match I'd ever had in that company. And I got to be a heel on Jeff because we had started this tour in Mexico. And it was funny because the first day of the tour I didn't work and Brian did, and the last day of the tour I worked and Brian didn't. But it started off that way because I had a big fucking black eye, compliments of Bob Holly, because I got to the gym before he did. And I finished before he did. Right. And I made grunting sounds. So he punched me in the face. No.
Yeah.
No, we had worked Cody and Bob before going to Mexico, and a spot I like to do where I lay on my feet and turn around. We were healing it up a little bit at the time. I was like, hey, and like, why don't you just punch me, Bob? I was like, yeah, I like that. And he punched me.
But don't really punch me,
fucking,
Bob.
like, this is the biggest fucking black eye. But I love Bob, so I didn't care. And I was like, ah. And he just liked me even more for not bitching about it. It's wrestling. It's not fucking ballet. You hear that all the time. It's true. So they were like, we'll flip a coin, guys. And I won the coin toss. And I was like, I guess you're working. And
Charlie
match.
We don't need to get into the details.
Yeah, no details there. So he worked the first night, and I didn't. But then we did.
Boy, what a match!
As a heart stopper. And we did the whole tour, and then we were working Cody and Bob the whole tour. And like the second to last night, Brian hurt his foot pretty bad somehow. I don't even remember how that happened.
Yeah, it was a nerve on the top, and it just swelled up. And fuck, I couldn't stand it. That's when Martha was gonna help me out and went sightseeing.
Martha?
Dr. Martha.
Oh yeah, his wife.
No.
Doc's wife.
Not Doc's wife. The other lady, the new lady, Martha, who was gonna go. She went sightseeing in D.C. instead of setting up. Anyways, fuck it. Who cares? I liked her.
Thanks, Mark.
Anyways, my foot was fucked up, so Paul worked Jeff Hardy, and I'm gonna interrupt him. The match was fucking incredible, and the way they had it set up, it was a slow ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom finish. When they get back, Dean Malenko says, and we're all sitting in chairs like this, well, yeah, it was a good match, but you could have made the match more sudden. And I don't know if you remember me saying this, but I said it for everybody. Dean, what the fuck was wrong with that match?
I do remember that.
Yeah, I did. And he was and I could have gotten shit, but fuck it. What the fuck was wrong with that match? Yeah. That match was amazing. Everybody was going crazy. There was nothing wrong with that match. Some motherfuckers want to critique something because it justifies their job. That match was incredible. That's the best match I've seen or Jeff had. That match was fucking unreal in Mexico City.
It was fun. It was like highlights for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, working with Jeff so easy.
That was awesome, man.
So easy because he's so over too, so that's so easy, to do any kind of heelish shit and get a reaction. But I mean, we just had good chemistry. We always have. even teaming with them is fun. You know what I mean? Because we did a lot of 6-man stuff with Jeff. Where we had a lot of great matches. I think we did a pay-per-view, us and Jeff against Caden Murdoch and Kennedy. We did a 6-man with us against Caden Murdoch and Benjamin. And so they teamed us with Jeff fairly often. I think they saw there was a lot of relation there as far as styles and stuff.
He's
like
got
that.
some sort of magic, man. He's just over, man.
Awesome.
I loved him when I saw him as a kid. He's just he's just got it, man.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
No, he's definitely a cool fucking guy.
Yeah.
But, you know, and then to wrap it all up, I mean, you know, definitely an influential tag team. Take from them what I did and take from them what I could learn from. Definitely have, you know, things that I don't like about their matches, and I think I alluded to that in the ladder match explanation, where it's like, well, when I think about it, no, we'll climb these ladders. We don't need to set them up to get pops for ourselves.
I'll agree with that. The Hardys are awesome. What I would rather be instead of the Hardys is psychologically different. Yeah, I want the belt. That's and I'm gonna base the psychology around me wanting that belt. And you can bump me on my way to the belt, but I'm going for that fucking belt. I'm not setting up the ladder outside the ring. I'm not setting it in the corner. I'm setting it up on the belt. And that's, I guess, the difference. But man, they were fucking. I love them. They're awesome, man. And who sold more merch? Well, fuck them. More than anybody, man. Well, Mysterio, but yeah. But them, we sold 11 shirts. They sold
Batista.
a gazillion. So yeah, they're awesome.
We sold 11, really?
Maybe, I don't know.
My mom bought 9 of them.
And I bought 2 of them.
Haas and Benjamin.
I've known Charlie, trying to think since when, 2001 in Memphis. Benjamin, I met a few years after, a little bit here and there. Fuck, I don't know. I like him, you know. I'd love to see him in TNA. I'm doing a little bit of stuff there now, and fuck, I don't know. I like the guys.
Yeah, there was. I don't know. I mean, sometimes it's a little bit of a headache to put matches together with them, just because, you know, they took their collegiate accolades too seriously sometimes. So they just be like, "Hey, we'll come in. We're wrestlers. There's no way you could do that on us. We're wrestlers. No way."
I mean, there's not ropes in collegiate wrestling. There's certainly ain't turnbuckles. Yeah.
You know, I think they took themselves a little too seriously and whatever. But I always had fun working with both of them, either individually or in a tag situation. It was always pretty easy, you know. Like, it was always fun to do. And
Charlie might rip your shoulder out in an arm drag. Though.
Yeah, Charlie is.
Ooh, he's fucking.
I mean, he's like
I like Charlie. But
I love Charlie. He's just like an intense.
Intense as it gets, yeah.
Because intensity is dangerous.
Fucking Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I like Haas and Benjamin for sure.
Caden Murdoch.
I broke in with Cade, you know. Murdoch, had a slapping incident with him.
Oh yeah, he likes to slap people on the back or something.
He'd like to slap guys in the stomach, in the back, and you know,
like fat guy chops.
Yeah.
Like Bubba Dudley does that kind of gay shit. It's like fat guy chops.
And
you're too unathletic to chop regular. You just chop the stomach.
He pulled that shit with me once without telling me. Bam, 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 and I was fucking livid after a match in Mexico. Stormed out afterwards, and you know, he tried to act tough and like, you know, I was pissed, man. Motherfucker, you don't. This is bullshit. You do it again, I'm gonna slap you in the face, sort of deal. And we you know, it wasn't like I'm blowing up to him. We discussed it, but dude, you don't slap me here. You do that, I'm gonna slap you here. And fuck, next time he slapped me on the stomach, it was on TV, and I started slapping the shit out of his face, man. And I like Murdoch, I like Cade. They both been over to my place, man. I like them. That's the only story I got. You know, Murdoch slapped me in the belly. I slapped him in the face like a little bitch. Ta-da.
We were lobbying to work with those guys for a while because they were on Raw. They were like the Raw.
We had awesome matches with them, man.
Yeah, and
awesome
we were
matches.
SmackDown.
I thought.
Yeah, so we were really trying to get over to work with them, whether bringing them to SmackDown or going to Raw, and when we started working with him. And it was just
Mm,
initially there was like a feeling out process, you know, but
keeping the belts warm for us, though.
oh, is that what he said?
You remember that? You told me
Kinda.
about that.
Oh,
yeah,
Murdoch?
yeah. Thanks for keeping them warm for us
Oh.
over in South Africa.
Yeah,
Come on,
it's just
motherfucker.
like I don't know. Thing is, like certain guys get up, you know, when guys get on TV or they start making some money. I mean, they're gonna think that they, you know, they're gonna start taking things for granted and start getting this kind of delusional attitude. And Murdoch would drift there more than Lance would. But Murdoch's also a lot more country than Lance, and so
Yeah, and I do like them both.
I like them
man.
both
They
a
can,
lot.
they're welcome over my place anytime.
yeah,
I
just
do
like
them.
real easy, excellent chemistry, safe. I mean, it was just fun to work with. It was
Yeah.
actually a shame we didn't really get to do more, like develop more stuff.
Well,
with them.
we ran in one day and beat them up, and then because they were beating up Triple H, if you remember, and then
Remind me. of
we
that.
got them scrambling out of the ring, and then Triple H went to shake our hands, and then kicked one of us. I don't remember who first in
What
the
a
belly.
faggot.
And the other one just stood there in place, and we both took pedigrees. And Paul kept insisting, when are we going to get a revenge? And week after week, I don't know if you went to Michael Hayes, different agents.
Oh,
when are
my
we going to get a
God.
revenge? When are we going to get
Basically,
a
we
revenge?
just look like pussies who just like,
Pussies.
get beat up and
Pussies.
don't have any issue with it. It was so
Pussies.
frustrating. Especially because that fucking Tool terrorizing, he fucking came up to us before the show and he was like, hey guys, I just want you to know that this is indeed a camel toe. And he said, I just
Wait,
want, he goes,
he did say something,
he
though.
comes up to us, he goes, oh, I looked on the TV sheet and
Well, this is what
I'm
the
telling
office
you guys,
wants.
this is what the office wants. It's Kevin Dunn. That's what Kevin Dunn wants. I mean,
You know,
I
I'm
had
out of
nothing
the,
to do
I'm
with
out of
it.
the bearskin
I
rug.
mean, I had nothing to do with it. That wasn't Vince's dick in my mouth. It was Stephanie's and Shane's. It was a DP in my mouth. That's the real pedigree. Double pedigree. That's what DP stands for. And, Jesus.
GDP though, man, does
GDP
yoga in my front
is
grass.
fucking
You know that,
awesome.
right? I've
Yeah.
told you about that.
Devil's Rejects is way better than fucking House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh, no comparison.
And